All right, looks like we're recording. And guys, I'm so excited to have on the program Lauren from CAFT. CAFT is the Coalition to Abolish the Fur Trade. I've been wanting to talk to you, Lauren, for a while now, but the timing is perfect because you guys scored a big win. So let's just start with that. Let's start with the huge win.
Yes, thank you for having me. I have been up all night, as you can see. We just beat Condé Nast, who is the parent company of Vogue Magazine, largest fashion magazine in the world, and they announced a fur-free policy. They will no longer be showing new fur in Vogue Magazine or any Condé Nast titles, which covers Teen Vogue, GQ, Allure, Vanity Fair, Wired Magazine. Like they own everything.
That's
So
massive.
it's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so this is like an incredible shift in the culture of fashion, I guess it could be, which is obviously why you guys picked that target. So maybe talk about the idea, how you guys came up with like, let's go after Vogue, like because it seems pretty ambitious. And when did the campaign start, and how did it come to fruition the way that it did?
So last year we had a fantastic year. We beat Marc Jacobs, who were our big enemy is LVMH. And Marc Jacobs is an LVMH brand, and he was the first one that we got to go for free. And we, after that victory, we got this horrible press about how we are it just made us sound like monsters. We were called bullies, and it was from the New York Times. And like, bam, 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 the next five companies just fall down. Like we barely campaign against any of them. Like we basically get through the research stage, do two protests, and the next five companies fall down. So
Nice.
we were feeling really good about our campaigns going
Yeah.
into Vogue magazine, and there was an LVMH brand that we've been looking at, but they weren't selling fur at the time. And we just kind of, I'm trying to remember what the genesis of Vogue is. It's about softening the landscape, because like if the largest fashion magazine in the world isn't supporting fur, I mean, it's a pretty good sign of the times.
Mhm.
And I don't remember exactly why we nailed down on Vogue. I know we were just really excited about it. We were like, this is like a silly campaign with like a lot of personality, like, and that's kind of selfish. But the Marc Jacobs people, I feel like I know them. We spent like 6 months with them. They're all weird. They're all characters. They come out and yell at us sometimes. They post weird stuff online. They were so interactive and fun, and we just thought the Condé Nast people and the Vogue people were going to be like that. I did, at least.
Yeah.
And we were wrong. They were terrible. They didn't talk to us. They were so boring. They barely watched our stories.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, so I mean, I heard you guys like talk about this like close to a year ago,
Oh
and the
yeah.
significance of Vogue. Like, is it true like that that's where the term in Vogue comes from? It's about the magazine, or do I have that wrong?
I thought it was the opposite,
Oh,
but I
okay.
don't know. I thought the term was in Vogue, and then the magazine is called
It
Vogue,
could
but I'm
be,
not
it could
sure.
be. Yeah. But it's just this cultural milestone of the largest fashion magazine, I guess. Um, So we're talking about massive companies. Now, I've known about CAFT for, 3, 4 years or so. And one thing about CAFT is that you guys just win. You just keep getting wins, knocking them off one by one by one. And so now having, taken part in some of your demonstrations and stuff, it's just this small crew of people. And you guys are able to make these companies make massive changes with a small group of people. And now I know you've been a strong advocate of pressure campaigning and targeting the fur industry for a long time. You're really getting vindicated through these wins with your strategy. So why don't you talk a little bit about that strategy and how you're able to do this, because it's really impressive. A lot of people wouldn't think like, oh, we're just like, 20, 30 people, whatever it is, whatever the number of people is. And I know it ended up being hundreds of people across the world that took part in this, but it really starts with a
Little
core group of
pockets.
people. Yeah.
Yeah. A
Yeah.
lot of the people driving our campaigns in cities, and this isn't like everybody that comes to protest, but a lot of times there's like one or two people that are doing a ton of the work.
Mm.
Um, I I used to be really against pressure campaigns, actually. I was in Boston, and I did a lot of like vegan stuff. I did a lot of cubes, and there's actually a pressure campaign in my city that this kid was running, and I like would bully him out of it. I would I'd be like, "You make vegans look bad. Why are you making us look bad in these stores? This is stupid." Like, I was so against the idea. Um, and then this like child, like we have like a vegan Evan type child that
Yeah, yeah.
is in was in my city at the time. He came to me with the Alice and Olivia campaign, which is a CAFT campaign, and he was like, "Oh, let's do it. Like, let's just see." Um, and we won in 11 days. And I knew the lore of it, where other orgs have been going after them for years, and with kind of more these digital, like long-term campaigns that are like low effort. Like I don't. It's just a different strategy. Like if you
Mm.
take on 500 companies and win two or three every few months, like it makes sense not to put a ton of energy in all those. But so we won Alice and Olivia in 11 days, and that just like changed everything for me. And I was like, oh my God. And I just came so convinced that like activism is about meeting short-term goals, at least some of it. Like that definitely has to be part of the puzzle, because like I feel like I was just like treading water and kind of going all over the place. And then it was like just like what you're saying, like these tiny groups of people, and we beat Neiman Marcus and Saks Fifth Avenue, YSL. I mean, Canada Goose dropped like right in that series of like all the department stores that can't sell Canada Goose anymore.
Yeah.
And it was never like a very sophisticated operation. And I think that's what I find it really empowering, that you could just go back in the day, what CAFT was. I didn't have any interaction with anybody. I interacted with the Instagram page only. I made my own signs. I
Mm.
made my own video. I did my video sometimes, didn't do it other times. Never told them if I went out. It was like really just me and my community going out to Neiman Marcus every day,
Oh
doing
yeah, nice.
protests with like handmade signs. And I just felt so empowered by the fact that like me and like my friends, truly, the people involved, can like bowl over these giant companies. Like I think it's so cool. And I don't know. I feel like once I had this information, like I can't go back. Like I'm just like, everybody should just do this. We can make such a big impact.
Yeah, yeah. Well, since I've known you and done demonstrations with you, you just have this confidence, this energy, this passion, which translates to everybody else in the group. And so it's not surprising to see. But you mentioned like at the very beginning, you were like, "Oh, you're making us look bad," how did you go from like, so obviously it was the win. You kind of just answered my question, but there must have been this moment where you're like, oh, it kind of doesn't matter if we're liked, because we have this natural tendency to want to be liked. And part of the whole thing about pressure campaigning is when you go into these places, you get all this backlash, and you get sometimes other vegans and stuff criticizing you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I don't remember when the exact shift was, but no, it's funny. I have like the same story as Wayne. I've heard Wayne tell his first disruption story, and I have the same story. So it's going to sound like I copied it, but I don't know. I didn't, believe it or not.
I'm not sure if I
But
remember his.
my first disruption was, I think it was at a Costco. I think it was just go vegan. We were asking Costco to go vegan.
Yeah, yeah. Very strategic, that one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. I think if we just gotten 5 or 6 more people on that campaign, I do think we would have tipped them over, but we
Mm-hmm.
didn't.
Mm-hmm.
But so it's me and I don't know, this crew of goons go into Costco, and it's my first disruption, and I like just don't like it. And someone starts preaching about veganism, and I put the sign in front of my face. Truly, I cried. I cried behind the sign, and I wasn't like sobbing, but like I teared up. I was so embarrassed. I was thinking about shoving my sign under like shelves and getting out and seeing like if I could just like pretend I wasn't with them. I
Oh
had
yeah.
like such a horrible reaction. Um So I don't know. I think people just are like that. I think there's something, I don't know. I even had trouble coming out to outreach because I was
Mm,
scared that I was going to be like in a confrontational situation
mm,
when I first started. So I don't know. I think I just had like mental walls set up. And now I always picture, I either saw this on a TV show or a talk show or something. This person that like got like a nail in their brain or something,
mm.
and they could no longer feel pain, I think. And I like picture that. I just like, and like, I just like don't feel embarrassed when I'm at the fur protest or I'm like acting like a fur protester. I tend to just like completely disassociate from it.
Yeah.
I make up that I'm angry. I'm not like not actually angry. And sometimes you'll see, I actually have a really bad habit of like laughing at the demos, where I'll be like really serious and then I'll break character and laugh. And some of it's that it's uncomfortable to be at like an elevated angry level.
Yeah.
It just like makes you feel like anxious. Um, but part of it is that it's like a character that I'm breaking. Like none of it's real.
Well, it actually, I think it comes across well because it shows like, the activists are in some cases having fun. Like we're in this for the fight. Like you guys hate this when we're talking about the companies, whatever company is being targeted. You guys hate this. We're here all day. And we'll, as
Yeah.
you
How
say,
cool is that? That's like the
yeah.
equalizer. I think it's cool that, they hacked the system. They made up this thing called money, and now they have like weird points that they can use against us. And it's like, oh, actually, I can just like come and like be like, I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you for as many hours as I can. And then you have to do what I say. Like,
Yeah.
we can just go back to.
Yeah. What, and you also brought up, like, it's important to get these short-term victories. I mean, these are massive wins. Like we shouldn't even downplay it. These are big wins, but there's something, for the mental state of an activist to have that energy, that momentum when you're starting to get wins. You even alluded to like how things had kind of slowed down. Like, I don't know if it was you specifically, but someone in the group had talked about, yeah, things were kind of slower over the last year, but thank you guys for hanging
Yeah.
in because the previous year, like you mentioned, we were getting like so many wins. And yeah, so talk a little bit about that. Like how do you power through those moments when the wins start to slow down a little bit? And how do you keep everybody involved? Because organizing, which is like part of the job, is just keeping everybody motivated and
Mhm.
having the spirit to keep going.
Yeah. We struggle with this. And it's just going to get harder because like the Neiman Marcus's, I mean, Neiman Marcus was huge and like a hard campaign, but like maybe not the Neiman Marcus's, the Xenia groups and the Alice and Olivia's and the Anne Fontaines are gone. Like these
Mhm.
campaigns are one and gone. And anybody still with a stake in the fur trade is comfortable. Like everyone knows where fur is trending. Everyone. Like there's Disney movies about this at this point. Um, like these people are comfortable being like known as like people that were dragged across the finish line. Like these
Mhm.
are not people that are coming along willingly. And they never will. So these campaigns are going to get longer. And a big part of it with us, I think, was burnout. I don't like the way that either the Berluti or Condé campaign, realistically, I don't like the way they rolled out. I don't think anybody at CAFT is, super psyched about how the beginning was because we were just like really burnt out. So, like for Marc Jacobs, we moved to New York for Marc Jacobs. Marc Jacobs put fur on the runway, and me and three others moved to New York. We're in this like, have you been in this apartment?
Mm-mm, I
We're
haven't.
in this like tiny, like roach-filled apartment. None of our friends are here. And then when AAC jumped on board and did the convergence, we won. Everybody, like, it was kind of like my Alice and Olivia moment for like 50 people that had flown out, and this is their first campaign, and they got to win like a public win in person, New York Times. Like, it was like the best case. It was like the best time to get involved.
Mhm.
So, that we're coming off that win, which was a lot, like 3, 4 times a week, 4-person demos, 4, 5, 6-person demos,
Yeah.
which is it's just a slog. And then as we're starting new campaigns, we would usually put a ton of effort into the start and find everything about the employees, and we'd have to research every time because there's turnover, and they take fur down all the time. It's a seasonal item. We like to start when they're selling fur. So we would do all this work getting out like assets at the beginning of the campaign, and the campaign would win in like a month or less, and it will have taken like 3 weeks of work to get it. So we were just like, we kept winning campaigns so fast. Like yesterday was like a bad day for me because it's just like a lot of work. Like you just have like a lot of work to like get all of this out. And so the beginnings and ends are really hard of the campaigns. So
Gotcha.
we just had a lot of beginnings and ends really close together. And then we didn't get the home demo started for Condé Nast quickly enough, I don't think. But whatever, it is what it is. So I think a big part of it is just like burnout, which we're trying to address. We hired an executive director, Susie Stork, who is incredible and he's upped our capacity like crazy. But yeah, I don't know the exact answer. I do know that our campaigns are going to be long from here on out, but they're going to be like the coolest ones you're ever like.
Indeed, yeah.
Yeah, they're going to be wicked cool. Like Vogue, that's cool. Hello. And LVMH is going to be really cool to be a part of. I just think like that's once we beat LVMH, like we've damn near beat the fur industry.
Yeah. We'll talk a little bit about that. Why is that? Like what is it about LVMH? How massive are they in the world of fur?
Yeah, they're the largest fashion conglomerate. They're owned by the richest man in the world. Sometimes all these richest people in the world switch. Bernard Arnault, he loves, like, he has this horrible image as like a ruthless businessman. He's called the Wolf in Cashmere, and it's like a nickname that like he gave himself.
Wow.
Because he, like, I don't know, he just wants to be like this evil little character. It's honestly cringy.
Yeah.
But he loves fur. Absolutely loves fur. He Dior is under LVMH, and that's like his baby store. Like he loves Dior. And then the other ones are Louis Vuitton, Loro Piana, and Fendi. Those are the big ones. Fendi slogan is fur is Fendi and Fendi is fur. So they're very invested. They love this like evil thing. They're kind of on an island on their own right now. And they are investing in trace programs. So basically they invest in these programs where you can see how happy the fur-bearing animal that was killed for your garment is, and like, humane stuff. And they're like investing in fur infrastructure. So they're like the largest force outside of the fur industry, propping up the fur industry. The fur industry is dying. Pelt prices are down. They're up a little bit this year, but generally down. And like these companies keep reviving fur. So I should have said this when you asked why we picked Vogue. Another reason why we picked Vogue is that fur was at a similarly terrible spot in the early 2000s or in the mid 2000s. I don't know what year, actually. Fur was in a similar spot in the 2000s, and Vogue published an article that really brought it back. And Vogue published a similar article in January of last year. So that
there was this whole like campaign, it seemed, to bring fur back. You were seeing it in the New York Times. You were seeing it, all these stories. I know someone in CAFT was talking about how it was pretty coordinated. It seemed to be coordinated, wasn't it?
It was like every celebrity is now in fur. And then first it was Mob Wife. Then it was like vintage. Well, vintage fur is fine. And it's like, oh, you can't tell vintage from real though. Or, it's like, it's so annoying because they just don't check. So they're like, it's probably vintage. It's the same way that I'm sure like your parents tell you that they eat free range meat or whatever. They're like, yeah, I eat the free range one, probably. I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like the vintage thing sucks, and then all the celebrities, and then the kids' toys. Kids' toys are big right now with the fur, and
yeah. Well, yeah. So I mean, so the fur industry is sort of like down right now, and so and that's been the case before. Is that why you personally started to get involved in like an intense focus on the fur industry? You saw this as an industry that could be picked off.
Yeah, so it's funny because our campaigns are pretty like transactional. It's like, I will stop protesting if you give me fur free policy.
Mhm.
But our theory of change is like pretty transformative. It's you know, that we just need to be able to beat an industry, like the propaganda value and the cultural value and the momentum value of beating an industry means something.
Mhm.
And I think we should try to wipe off one industry. I think that'd be really cool to get that in our lifetime. And I think we can.
Mhm.
And I think if we don't, fur is the most popular thing to protest. Fur and vivisection, they're always going to take off the way the other ones don't. So instead of us making ground on, I don't know, uh, pet, I don't know,
Right.
pet food,
Whatever other thing.
like
Right.
usage.
Mhm.
Um, Instead of doing that, we're always going to have these like little fur campaigns. So why don't we just
Mhm.
end them
Mhm.
and win, and then have a
Mhm.
community that knows how to win, and then we go into exotics or foie gras with a movement that's like, no, we're winning. Like, I
Yeah,
think it
yeah.
matters that we can imagine a win, and like we have steps to get towards it, you know.
Yeah, I know, and the importance of reputation is like, oh, okay, just tolerate the activists for a while. They'll go away eventually. They'll burn out. They'll get tired. So it's so important to actually stay on it and win. And the fur industry knows that they've been down before and that they've popped back up. So like you said, it may be that the individual um, the fur industry itself is down right now, but they've got these major backers still. It's
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and you
So
saw how they came out after Denver.
right,
Like
right, yeah.
they were a sophisticated operation. Like, I know that a lot of the money came from the slaughterhouse too,
Mhm.
but I mean the fur industry was not going to go down without a fight, and they've been fighting all the legislative activists in Massachusetts. They're still lobbying.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's a credit to you. Like you mentioned how the start of the campaign was like not how you want it to be, but just to have the audaciousness to go after it, knowing that, you when you take on a campaign, it there's a lot at stake because one, it's like people's time can be wasted if you start a losing campaign. So you have that responsibility. You also have the reputation that we just talked about. You can't
Mm,
lose. Once you start, you got
mm.
to go through and win. So yeah, it takes a lot of courage to start a campaign, especially when it's just a few people, as you described, like going out to do these campaigns at the start. Maybe you
It
maybe
feels
talk.
terrible.
Yeah,
That is the part of it. It feels horrible.
yeah.
And like, if you think you made a mistake, it's just it feels terrible.
Right,
That's
right.
the worst part.
Yeah. I mean, but obviously the worst thing would be not even trying. But tell me a little bit about how you mentioned AAC, Animal Activism Collective,
Yeah,
did their convergence and stuff. You and AAC seem to be having like a real beautiful partnership that has really helped out a lot. So you've got this nice coalition going.
yeah,
And yeah, like that's a big part of this, I think. Your ability to forge this relationship with this group and AAC, to their credit, to be able to forge the relationship back. Yeah, it's been really cool thing to watch.
I think
Like
we
as
came up together. We're definitely CAFT and
mhm.
AC are like brother and sister, I think, in the movement.
That's how
um,
I view it too.
we're like besties. They
Yeah,
are
definitely
truly the
best.
best. And I don't know that we would have, I'm actually certain that we would not have come up with the convergence model.
Mhm.
We CAFT was doing more of like the touring model, where, and I think that that's a good one too. And I think it forces you to get people involved, because if me and you are just on a road trip together alone and we are going to go protest, like, it's embarrassing to show up with just two of us. Especially, I feel
Right.
like it's more embarrassing in a city you're not from.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
it kind of like forces you to get people out. But
I
this
feel the
convergence
opposite, actually. I feel more embarrassed in the place that I live just because I know I've got like people around who know me. When I'm in
was,
another city, I feel like immune to anything.
yeah, but then they're gonna see it. Like, whoever the activists are that are in that city is like, who the hell was in Pittsburgh today?
Right,
Like,
right. Yeah,
I don't
didn't
know
hit
those
us
people.
up and right.
um, yeah, I think that that's funny. But yeah, the convergence model, I think it's brilliant. I'm so thankful that they came up with it. I have seen convergences. I don't think I've seen anything transform activists the way I've seen convergences transforms activists.
Mhm.
If you can go to a convergence, I just highly recommend it, no matter what like level or style you're at. Like they're designed so they're like an intro to activism, but also
Right.
there's gonna be a ton of people there that are every single one, and
Mhm.
are running really, running big campaigns and stuff.
Right.
Everybody's there. It's just, I don't know, it matters so much. I think the convergences are some of the most important things that are going on.
Yeah, I do too. Just because, like, also, like, one, it's the numbers, and then you also just see how a good campaign is run. You see the energy that you have to reach. Like, a lot of times, like, when I've done some organizing myself, we might start out, we had like sort of like a low energy. And I saw, through Instagram, I saw what you guys were doing at CAFT and AAC. And I was like, no, we have to match that level, or else we're not going to get anything done. So it's great to like be around activists that have a lot of experience. Like you said, these convergences are great for that. And then
And seeing it in
also,
person.
right, in person. And also, there's a safety you feel like when you're surrounded by 50 activists
Yeah.
and you waltz into some hotel or whatever, like fur store, like you feel fine. Like
Yeah.
it's chill. Like these kinds of things that might seem intimidating if you're in a small group, and they might be intimidating. Of course,
Yeah.
I will say, for people who haven't done that sort of thing before, it's usually like for me, and I've heard other people express this too. Like the nerves are always like in the beginning as you're like walking up. And then
Mhm.
once you're in the moment, like it just melts away. You're just in
Yeah.
it. Like it's
Yeah.
like it's too late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I get scared sometimes. If I'm like the most responsible person at the demo, then I'll be anxious the entire time.
Mhm.
Uh and I'll be, nervous someone's gonna arrest it or whatever. But at like a normal demo, I feel like the main thing is like you feel embarrassed. Like it's like embarrassing to be
Yeah.
inside an American Girl doll store, being like, your CEO is on the board of the like you can
Hmm.
you don't want to it's hard to even explain. Actually, did you see my story last night? I someone had posted about American Girl doll, and they're like, I
I don't
just
think
saw
I saw it. Yeah.
it was an old Reddit thread, and they were like, I'm in New York, and I just saw a protest of American Girl doll, and everyone's speculating what the protest is about.
Yeah.
Um, and the person said they're screaming, American Girl is a fucking fascist. And I was like,
Nice.
I like sat with that and thought for it, and I was like, animal fur is not fucking fashion.
Oh,
And
oh,
they
I
just
see. I
like
see.
heard it wrong. So like
Yeah.
nobody knows why you're there. Everyone thinks you're a weird person. To
Hmm.
me, that's the hardest thing to get over. But then it's also, I also always think, I am highly involved.
Hmm.
Um, I have never run into a protest in my day-to-day life. Never.
Hmm.
Like maybe a big march. When I lived in DC, I would run into embassy protests sometimes. But in my normal life, I have never come across an animal rights protest,
Same.
an environmental protest, like any of these little protests. I've never seen one. So like,
Yeah.
I don't know, no one sees it.
Yeah, and it would stay with me for sure. It would
Yeah.
be something that I remember for the rest of my life, I'm sure.
But I don't think I'd remember the people. I'd remember myself.
No, no,
Like I would
definitely.
remember my experience. I don't think I would like think of like who
Yeah.
is that? Like I would just kind of think that they're like NPC protester person. Like I really wouldn't think about them, I don't think.
Yeah. Well, so you guys are also employing this strategy that we've seen in the Shack campaign where you do these tertiary targets. Like you just sort of alluded to how sometimes you're doing a protest and it's hard to even explain why you're there because they may have some secondary purpose. Like I'm thinking of Sally's Beauty. Like when we were doing one and we were trying to like nail down. I'm like, okay, what's the language again? So Sally's Beauty
Diana
CEO sits
Ferguson
on this.
asked Roger Lynch to leave the board of Mattel because he's an
Yeah. So we had flyers and stuff we could give out. But it seems to work. It seems to be really effective because these few people, like whether it's the home demos or these companies, they're talking, they're clearly talking and they're feeling the pressure. And a lot of times what it is, it's these companies who don't need this, you know, like the company,
Yeah.
like it's not really a big part of their business, like Sally Beauty, like they don't need any part of this.
Yep.
So
And I feel like I saw things picking up when the Mattel people were getting home demoed.
really, yeah,
So I almost think, and you're going to get different answers from different people who I'm aligned with, but I tend to think that the connection or the position just doesn't matter. It's the personality of the person you are going after. So I think Mattel is a strong affiliate, but I just think that they have a bad attitude and they're really upset about being home protested, like, and they made a big stink about it.
yeah,
And so they had sued. They didn't sue us. They gave us a cease and desist that we posted about. And then a second cease and desist followed immediately after a Mattel home protest, and it was like, and they protested somebody that wasn't even part of Condé Nast. And I think that it was about this person who made a big deal. He made a big enough deal to get into the cease and desist. So I think
yeah,
Mattel was telling them, "We're done."
yeah. Let's not go too long in the interview without talking about the next target, because it's important that people know what the focus is. So let's talk about that next target and
Okay.
how and usually I like save this for like the end of the interview, but how people can get involved. That's obviously really important with these campaigns. So let's talk
Yeah.
about that a little.
So the next target is Berluti. Berluti, we've already been going after them. There's been demos in Europe. Europe and Japan have been kind of like leading the charge on this campaign. And it's a decentralized campaign. So really, if you want to get involved, you can get a Sharpie and a piece of paper and go to a Berluti store near you. Or you can, if you want to get involved in like research or video editing or behind the scenes stuff, which is like very needed, you can DM us at CAFT USA on Instagram.
Okay. Yeah.
Berluti, just for like an explainer, is it's like a lower hanging fruit within the LVMH brand. So basically, we're trying to pick away LVMH brand by brand. I don't think our movement is big enough to take on Louis Vuitton right now. I just don't think we'll win. So we're just trying to get LVMH to go store by store until we can work up to those big four, which are Loro Piana, Dior, Louis Vuitton, and Fendi.
Yeah. Well, I mean, do you think like the momentum from this recent win might translate some into this next campaign? Because, like, I mean, they have to see that you're, like you say, you win. You always win.
Yeah, I don't know. So I don't have good reads, truly. During the convergence, so for people that don't know, Marc Jacobs was won during an AAC convergence on the 11th day. So it was like the last day of the
Right. Yeah.
convergence, which doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, because they have the internet, they know it's a convergence. They can go online and figure out it ends on this day. So after we passed like the 5th day, I was like, they're not going to do it. I was like, there's no way he does it. Like, why would he endure 5 more days? And I was really dejected, and I was like, I think it's going to be about 9 more months on Marc Jacobs. I remember we had started making a victory graphic actually during the convergence. I wish we should just have those ready. We don't. We never do. And then we like stopped. And we were like, we're not gonna finish it. Like,
yeah.
so I
It might
thought
be something cool to have that victory graphic just to disperse and be like, don't share this, but this is what it's going to look like when we get this win.
like a manifestation thing.
Yeah,
Like
manifest
everybody
it. Yeah.
collectively imagines it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like with Vogue, I was saying 2 years. If you talked to me 3 days ago, I'd be like, it'd be about 2 years. So I don't know. My reads suck.
It's hard to know, you know, like it's all these individuals you guys are dealing with. Yeah, why do you think that Marc Jacobs did it on the last day? That's an interesting thing. I find that curious too.
I have no idea. I do know. So a Marc Jacobs employee did a felony assault on an activist at one of the demos. So maybe that, because we were, we usually don't pursue stuff like that, but like a window had gotten broken by accident at the same demo. So maybe they just didn't want to deal with that because I don't know. I actually
Yeah.
think the guy got fired though. So I don't know if the company's liable if this guy just punched somebody.
Yeah.
But I think that was probably maybe one thing, that the felony assault, or maybe it was there's like this little flower shop that took Marc Jacobs' bag out of their window. They were like
Nice.
a little collaborator. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what I thought was actually an interesting thing at Marc Jacobs? I think that author, I can't remember her name. She's like Marc. She's not a real author. She's wrote a coffee table book. She's Marc Jacobs' friend, and we did a demo of her book signing event. And I feel like she really, really hated it. People like walked her all the way to the subway. Like, I think she hated it.
Yeah.
So it might have been her. I don't know.
Well, it sounds like it was just like an onslaught of great activism. So that's probably, it was just a collection of all of that stuff, I assume.
Yeah, I wonder if this is something, I feel like it doesn't matter if people know, but like after the convergence, we had this, we planned to get a boat and go, because Marc Jacobs lives in the ocean. So we're gonna get a boat and like protest from behind his house in the open waters. In international waters. And his husband Char is, I love this guy. He would have definitely come out, and I think he would have come in the water. I don't know, maybe. But we had this boat protest that was going to happen like 3 days after the convergence.
Nice.
Happen. Someone send this to Marc Jacobs. Joelle, do you still watch our stuff? If you do, could you send this to Marc Jacobs?
I don't know if Joelle watches me, but yeah, send it. That would have been awesome.
Yeah, Char is, I love Char. Char
Yeah.
can come to any protest he wants to come to.
Yeah. I mean, another thing I like about the convergences and your campaigns is like the creativity. Like you said, you had this boat idea. Like there's a lot of like really kind of fun and funny creative ideas and things that happen during these protests. So that's just another plug for people to come out and join. Yeah.
And you can like do whatever you want. Like these campaigns are decentralized. If you live near it's hard with Berluti because Berluti's not quite everywhere. Laurel Piana is everywhere. If you live near Laurel Piana and you want to just like start your own digital campaign or go after I don't know, I can't think of like what it would be, but go after an affiliate. You're like welcome to do that. Like we don't make any rules.
Yeah. And I mean, having the backing of CAFT also, it's kind of like a bargaining chip. It's like, look at these activists doing this work. Like, do you really want them on your ass? Like, I don't think so. So
yeah, the one thing that I just feel like it's like a natural thing, and like a lot of people, their natural inclination is to start their own campaign, and I do think that just divides us. And I think that it like is a contributor to burnout, and I think it just makes us win all the campaigns slower. So I just feel like before you like start a campaign, see if you can become a leader in one that's already going on. Like in a lot of cities, there are horse carriage campaigns. Like there are all sorts of campaigns that are like already going on, and if you have like a reasonable belief that you could help that campaign win, I would do that before I'd start something else. Because the whole reason CAFT wins is because of the alignment. It's because, all these cities, I think it's like something like 50 or 60 cities are aligned and all going after the same target.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, we divide ourselves a lot and we get ourselves focused on too many different things. And then we, like you've mentioned, we're just too small for that. Like I actually, you know, I don't know if I agree with you that you're too small to take on, or you're not ready to take on LVMH or Louis Vuitton right now. But you know, you seem to have the ability to focus, and I don't feel like it's that many people that need to focus on things.
No, it's
I
not.
like how you're taking them off one by one, Berlouti being next, but
We would have
yeah, it
liked
really
to just
doesn't.
get the whole thing.
What's that?
We would have liked to have just gotten the whole thing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We would have
Yeah.
just liked it the whole. I mean, honestly, that's why this is the Condé Nast campaign and not the Vogue campaign. Like a little like insider tea. Like we would have gone brand by brand if they had held out. Like we would have just gone, you know, after Vogue and then Teen Vogue, or probably not Vogue first. Probably do like GQ, Vanity Fair, Teen Vogue. We would have happily gone title by title.
Yeah.
But they didn't get to that point in the campaign. So we would have liked if LVMH just did what Condé Nast did and was like across all of our stores.
Yeah. It's too bad. I didn't know all this about the owner, like being so heavily invested in fur.
He's
That makes it,
horrible.
yeah, that definitely makes it tougher, especially if he views himself as this evil villain guy.
Yeah, he views himself as an evil villain. All of his kids are next in line. It's like he's got all his
Oh,
kids
wow.
lined up with him to take over.
Yeah.
He is old. He's in his
Mhm.
80s. So,
Mhm.
like, how long is he going to do this for?
Right. Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, the pressure must increase with each successive win. I mean, they become more and more isolated in this. So I don't know. Maybe some people thrive on that. Hopefully, though, they don't. And yeah, let's hope not. Well, let's go back in time a little bit more. And like, so you talked about getting involved in stuff, and you were doing cubes and stuff back in the day, you said, like, so you were started off with like some sort of like you know uh vegan activism and stuff. Like, how did you get started that? Like, what's your story, like getting into all the activism?
So back in the day, back when I started, and in my city, there was like two real things going on. There was AV, Anonymous for the Voiceless, and Earthlings Experience, which is the same thing.
Right.
Um, so like I told you, I was like, this did not come like the most natural to me. This was before COVID. Maybe 20 people at the Cube 3 times a week.
Yeah.
In
Wow.
my little city, I wasn't even in a big city. Um, so I loved it. We got to eat afterwards. I'd feel
Mhm.
good about myself. I was really happy. Um,
Yeah,
and then
that's
I think
similar.
that I just feel obligated to do the pressure campaigns now because I think I started pressure campaigns, didn't really like them, but I liked that we got to win, and I just got addicted to that winning feeling. And then
Hmm.
when the numbers came out from China, and I saw that like in 4 years, really in 2 years, but in 4 years, 40 million animals have been taken out of the fur industry,
Hmm.
um, and like coincides with our campaigns. Like it's so like it's just like I just feel like I just feel like I have to do this. Like
Yeah,
how
you're part
can
of
I?
something big. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like how can I not do it? Like I almost feel like I'm taking away resources if I do the other stuff, which I do. We do need to find a better balance because all of us at CAFT do not have a good balance.
Well, but I mean, you're inspiring others. And I mean, I've seen some people over the years champion pressure campaigns. Um, but it really, like you said at the very beginning, for me, it was cubes and vigils and stuff. And similar to you, like back in the day, pre-COVID, yeah, we'd get like 20 people at a cube, which was pretty awesome.
Yeah,
Um,
loved it.
but yeah, pressure campaigns were sort of scattered, I feel like, at the time. And that's no shade on anybody that was doing them at the time. They
Yeah.
weren't quite as strategic. And that's where CAFT really has like a strategic goal, a target, and you don't feel like you're just spinning your wheels, like, and the results speak for themselves. So I'm really happy. I'm sorry that it takes its toll mentally for activists, but I'm really happy
Yeah.
that there are people championing this and keeping on it.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
yeah,
I hope
like
it
there was
lasts.
what?
I
Sorry.
hope it lasts. Like we're in the final stretch. I do think like I think like you said, you need to have a lot of, did you say arrogance or audaciousness to take on these
Audacious.
ideas?
Yeah.
Like, all true. I have all of that. I really do think CAFT changed the landscape of
I do too.
protesting in the US and like somewhat in Europe. Um, like this was not happening when CAFT started. And now I'm even seeing all the big orgs are having to move over and start our tactics. Like if you go to any like really well funded org protest, you're gonna hear like chants that like are they're not CAFT chants. They've been used. I actually watched a video recently of like a Palm Wonderful home demo from years and years ago, and they're using the same chants. But like it absolutely, I just feel like everyone's having to shift and move over. And that like volunteers for all these other orgs are expecting more of like a CAFT or AAC. I think it's like CAFT and AAC, like a CAFT or an AAC experience. So you see them doing convergences, you see them doing, more confrontational protests. And I do think that we've kind of shifted everybody. And I think there's just a pendulum. And I think that Shaq was really radical, and there was like a heavy like underground element, which I don't know if that will ever come back. And then there was that repression moment, and I think it just flipped everybody out. And then DXC kind of comes in right after that. Humane League. It's like DXC and Humane League rose kind of together, and two very different strategies, where DXC is relying on like people power to do these transformative culture change campaigns, these broad culture change things. And Humane League is doing like, we need to get wins right now for animals by hook or by crook. And they're doing cage free. And they're, kind of grounded. They really just want to start moving the needle for animals. Very, very different sort of orgs just like rise up. And both, I mean, all the welfare orgs are, kind of had a little bit of a boost at that time. And that's where all the money went. So all the money goes to, veganism and cage free. So there really wasn't room for like a Shaq or like a CAFT type of a thing, where it's kind of neither of those. Like it's single issue, it's not veganism, but it is like transformative in that we're trying to do like a cultural symbolic sort of win. I don't know.
Well, let's talk about CAFT a little, because like there used to be a CAFT. I think it was there, and then there wasn't a CAFT, then it got reformed. And I mean, that word, I like the word audacious, because it really it takes that audaciousness to start something and to try something different that maybe have been done like during the Shaq years, but like you said, wasn't really being done at the time. Like a really hyper focused pressure campaign, and where other people, we get kind of stuck in our ways. So a lot, like, it was probably hard. I'm sure you got a lot of pushback from people who like, no, we're going to do it this way, we're going to do it that way. Like they're set in their thing, they think they've got the formula down. But I've seen over the years that like nobody's really completely had it down. Like everybody's like got their different ways, and but so let's talk about like how CAFT got reformulated.
So I came in on campaign 2, so I'm not privy to everything, but I just know that the old CAFT signed off on it. Like they were down for Tyler to start the new CAFT, and the big catalyst was COVID. And COVID gave us 2 big opportunities. These minks get HPAI, highly pathogenic avian influenza. And there's only one, I don't know if everybody knows this, there's only one crop per year. There's only one set of mink, and they're killed at the end of the year. So if farmers have to cull or lose a year, it's devastating for them. So, and the other thing is that a lot of these farmers are like 3rd generation, like it's just been passed down in their family. So like they're not even necessarily passionate about it. It's just kind of like the job that they were saddled with. So some of them just kind of want out because they just don't want to do it. So like when things like COVID come around, they'll just bail. They'll just be like, whatever, I'll retire now. So that was a big catalyst. That gave us that. And we didn't compete with anybody. Everybody stopped. It's probably the reason why I ended up at a CAFT protest when I didn't like ugly protests, because there was nothing going on. There was no cube. There was no vigil. Everything shut down. And we were just the only ones out there. And it was something I'd never seen before. Is like these people going into the store, and I don't know. I just thought it was like something I'd never seen before. And I think I saw Animal People sometime. It must have been later because I'm sure that movie didn't come out in 2020. But I saw Animal People, and I feel like that like kind of solidified pressure campaign strategy in my mind. But with like the Shaq comparison, I actually think I get it. Especially if your understanding of Shaq is like that movie, where it's like a lot of like their home demos. We don't use a lot of Shaq stuff. We actually have watered down. That's why our campaigns take so long. But we've like watered down everything. Like Shaq would show up at your house, and like your boat will have been sunk the night before. They'll show up at your house dressed like pirates. Like we can't do that. Like there's nothing. That sort of stuff just doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah. Well, Tyler, didn't I believe, like, and I don't want to speak for Tyler, but didn't he started with the Shaq campaign, I think, when he got into activism years past.
Yeah, that was his first campaign. He was and then like I think his first major organizing role was in AstraZeneca, which they did win, I believe, or maybe he got sued. No, I think he won.
Oh, okay. Well, cool. Like, yeah, you had mentioned the underground, and we know Tyler, like, you know, he actually is someone who had done time for rescuing mink, so he was part of the underground back in the day. Do you think that's true? Like you mentioned, you don't see that.
I think you did it.
No. No. Sorry.
No, I don't think you did it.
No, no. I was gonna ask. You had mentioned you don't know if this will come back. Do you think that's true, or do you think there could be a resurgence of like sort of underground activity and that sort of stuff?
I have no idea. I mean, I guess there was a couple of fur raids, but I don't know. It's I don't know. I've never lived through an era where that was happening. I don't know that I fully know the conditions that facilitate it. I suspect. Well, who was the president under this? George Bush. I don't know. Do people get more radical under Republicans or Democrats? Is that even what drives it? I don't know. I don't know what would drive it.
If you ask Wayne, he was no fan of Donald Trump, but he had some excitement because he thought when, you know, if Trump is elected, people like kind of get off their ass. That was his theory. And maybe it's true. I don't know. I really don't know. But I
can say as an organizer, it's easier to organize under Trump. I've done
interesting.
Yeah, I've organized under Trump, Biden, and Trump. People were more motivated, like even for animal rights. So I don't know if like there's just more energy in the air or something. But people are easier to organize under Trump. I don't know why.
Do you think like this is asking you to completely speculate, but people are doing like their No Kings rallies, they're doing all that kind of stuff where like a lot of people who wouldn't normally do protests are getting out in the streets, and maybe they think, you know, like, well, I see that those people aren't getting arrested in high numbers. Like my mom will go out to a No Kings rally. It's okay. So maybe they feel a little safer to do like fur protests while the intense focus of government doesn't seem to be on that.
Maybe there are more of those big protests, and then they start like identifying, like, you know, like if you want to start biking, you buy the bike outfit. Yeah. Like, so maybe it's like, oh, I see myself as an activist now, and I feel safer to go out. I don't know. The one thing we did lose under Trump, we lost a lot of people of color, and a lot of people who aren't outright citizens.
Right.
That was a big blow actually to us, and we ended up losing a lot of people that just really don't have the same right to protest as some of us right now.
Yeah.
But the energy, so that's like a policy thing that made that did hurt us, but the energy just seems better with the people under Trump. I don't like Trump. I'm not pro Trump, but
yeah. Well, it just fires people up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what, like, you sort of talked about, like, you have, like, it's tough to read. Like, what have been some of your, like, big surprises, like, during doing these campaigns, like things where they happen, like, not the way you expected?
There was one night we were trying to get Marc Jacobs and Char. They were at the Met Gala, and we'd never been. And I guess the big organizer in here in New York, there's a fur organizer that's like really good with celebrities and big events. And she was like, she had gotten into the Met Gala before, but we got there and they had like changed everything, and like we couldn't get in, and they blocked down the streets. So nobody was getting in. It just wasn't going to happen. And so I made like a last ditch effort. I just like ran through a line of cops. Like I was just like, let me see if I can just like get in and disappear into the crowd. So I ran. A guy picks me up. He's like taking me out of the event. And the big organizer in New York, and like I'm dressed like a protester. Like I don't look. I should have worn a real outfit, but whatever. The big organizer in New York came up and she was like, she's the press, like you're you're like arresting the press, like I have her press pass right here. And she just started like really confidently telling the police that I was the press.
Wow.
And they let me in.
Oh,
And
nice.
they let us all in. It made no sense. They shouldn't have. And then we get in and there's like a barrier up, and we can't get close to Marc Jacobs. So we took a picture of the license plate, and they drove around the corner, and our friends at AAC were around the corner. And they just like ran out in front of the car. And it's a black car with tinted windows. Like, we were just like, well, we won't get the video. Char, our best friend Char, rolls down the window and starts making fun of us. So we got like,
Nice. That's awesome.
yeah,
Thank you,
so like
Jar.
that was funny. And then there was also the graduation where Roger Lynch was speaking. He's the CEO of Condé Nast. He was speaking at this graduation, and someone, actually another AAC person, somebody was out there, was like, let me see if I can just get some tickets to get in there. And he like went up to some students. He was like, hey, my sister didn't give me my tickets, and she's in there. She's such an idiot. Like I can't get in. And like all these students pulled together and gave us their extra tickets.
Oh, nice.
Like got into this graduation, and they screamed at Roger Lynch and he left the stage, and it was
Brilliant.
yeah,
Awesome.
just like funny stuff like that ends up happening. I really like the book Liberate by Peter Young.
Yeah, me too.
And he just like advocates for like getting your feet get your feet physically in front of a situation that you're interested in, and
Right.
like opportunities will open up for you. And I
Yeah.
really think that that's true. And sometimes people, I don't know, people just don't assume that you're doing something bad, and you're not doing something bad. And you should really think of yourself. This is a Wayne thing, that you're at work right now. You're at work. Your job is to help animals.
Oh, yeah.
Like you're supposed to be here. You are supposed to be here. Like you literally are. You're helping the world. You're supposed to be there.
Yeah.
So like if you go in with that attitude, like things just happen for you. And if like if you just
Yeah.
I like the story of going to the lab every night. Because like people will leave their door unlocked every 31st night or whatever. And so they just went for 32 nights and like the door was unlocked.
Yeah.
I do think getting places in person really changes the game.
We were just talking about Peter's book yesterday, some friends of mine, and one of my friends brought up that he doesn't know if it was in that book or if Peter said it. I don't know if he said this in his book, but it was basically like our self-doubt has caused more death to animals than like the industry itself. Like, yeah. And I really like that you brought up that thing about, treat this like your job, because like a lot of times we have this mental block where, the world is telling us you're criminals or you're doing something wrong or you're a terrorist, you have to remember, no, I'm right. Like,
No,
first of all,
yeah, I'm
convince
right.
yourself. Yeah. Yeah. Because if
Yeah.
you have that self-doubt, yeah, then you feel like you're doing something wrong, but you're not. Like, I love that
Yeah.
you said that. Yeah.
Yeah, you're standing up for like other legitimate nations like on this
Right.
planet. Yeah, you are in the right, I think. Another person that embodies this really well is Animal Rights Initiative.
Mhm.
They just kind of like bully their way into no, I won't say that. They are very persistent
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
their
Don't give Marc
legislative.
Jacobs more ammunition.
No, ARI, they are very professional, very nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they just have this really interesting strategy of just like, we're supposed to be here. I'm the animal rights expert, actually. And
Yeah.
here's my bill. You need to pass it. You can't pass this one. I got another one. I got another one. I got another one. I got another one. And they're really good at they're very, very confident. And like, I think they're very audacious at work. They're just
Yeah.
like, yeah, we're just going to, you won't take my bill. Well, here's 10 more. I can stay here all
Yeah.
day. When do you want to
Yeah.
meet? I can meet at any time. Anytime. Like
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. Like it takes that level. And I think a lot of people like I won't bring up names, but like in discussing certain people in the movement, a lot of people uh have that where it's like they just won't take no for an answer. Whereas a lot of people will just sort of back down if you tell them like, no, you can't do that. They're like, oh, damn, well, we tried. It's
yeah.
like really easy to do that, but that's something that CAFT really embodies too. It's just like a like go for it spirit. And yeah, like if we can't go this way, we'll go this way. Well, it's a real you guys can call audibles, like it's really impressive.
Yeah, I think there's something I think it's cultural. I saw a TikTok recently of this I think it was a boomer and she's talking about how she got this like oh wait, who it was Amy Poehler or Tina
Oh,
Fey or
okay.
something. It was someone like this. And she was just like, yeah, um I kept calling SNL and they wouldn't take me. They didn't want me to audition. And then I called and I was like, oh, I was just talking to someone about my audition and I got cut off. Do you know who that is? And they like told them the name of the person that would probably be that person. And then she
Mhm.
called that person and that person was like, "Oh, I don't remember talking to you." And she admitted it. She was like, "Well, I just got through the system and I lied because I really want the job." And they were like, "Fly out next week, like you're hired." Like it was like this weird story. But like I feel like a lot of boomers like had that experience, not maybe not getting on SNL, but like had some
Mhm.
experience like that where they would just like go to place every day and like get jobs this way where they would like come up with like a little trick or something and
Right, right.
and I just don't think we do any of that anymore. Like there are no
Yeah.
tricks anymore. You can I feel like we need to watch more movies where like the underdog team, like a sports team, comes up with a trick and they get to win because it's like a weird trick where they like are on each other's shoulders for some reason. Like,
Right. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I feel like we just
Yeah,
like
we
more of that.
we do. Yeah, we need a lot of that in the animal movement. I didn't know, like, I didn't remember, I guess, like that how COVID like opened that window for CAFT, and that does track in my timeline of when I started to like hear more about CAFT.
Yeah.
Would be during COVID. So yeah, you guys filled this void. You mentioned that there was like a cultural shift in activism. I think that's very true.
Yeah.
And the partnership that you have with AAC too, like and your focus, I feel like it's their worst nightmare, isn't it? It's like the fur industry's worst nightmare is that people are actually focused and effective and cooperating. And yeah, I love to see it. That's what it's been a really beautiful thing to see. How are some ways that people could really help out CAFT if they wanted to?
Yeah, so the first way is definitely reach out to us. You can DM us. Right now, our executive director is trying to make a landing page that you can sign up easily on.
Yeah.
Might happen by the end of the stream, might not. But if not, you can DM us on Instagram. Um, and we can help you get plugged in your city. And then the other thing you can do is donate at abolishfur.org. There's donate button. Those donations go really far. Our campaigns are on like a shoestring budget. So, you know, we like any amount like really does help us. And we use that money to get signs in activist hands. We buy megaphones for people. We go to events. So like right now, one of our people is in LA because they were supposed to go do a bunch of home demos for Mattel. But, you know, if we can travel, we'll do that. So we just like really try to help local activists replicate these campaigns in their cities. And you're still like autonomous. So like whenever you're helping out with a CAFT thing, like that's great. But like it doesn't have to be like a CAFT group of any kind. You know, CAFT is just a representation of the people that want to do these campaigns.
Yeah. Well, and I can say from experience that CAFT has been a great partner in these sorts of things. CAFT and AAC, I should mention, you know, like whenever like I've wanted to do something locally or something, CAFT has always been very responsive, whether it's advice or, you know, like sharing like Instagram reels, that sort of stuff. Like you guys are like great partners. You guys have just been really great partners. And that's what, you know, that just goes a long way, and that's why I feel like you guys have been able to sustain these you know, coalition that you have with like AAC. And I mean, I should mention we had that great convergence in DC. I thought it was so beautiful. We had all these groups together doing different styles of campaigns.
Yeah,
And yeah, it was really cool to see these groups like. And what I liked about that too was it just seemed to me like these are the people, like a lot of the people who are in the room. I was like, these are the people who just get shit done. And it must be terrifying for the industry to see them all talking together and getting along. And
I totally agree. So that's kind of when I got closer with Wayne. I don't think Wayne and I agree on anything.
yeah.
And I loved being in that environment because I just think he's a real one. Like I believe that he believes his theory of change. And I hope he's right. And I hope he wins. Like, I just like being around and like there's a lot of people that were from like DXC circles and we don't have a huge pull on the West Coast. I feel like DXC mostly has that, but it was really fun to be around like those types of people. I really do. I don't know. There's like an ilk to the type of people that do both campaigns. Like it just feels more, I don't know, like I don't want to bash like the big orgs. It just feels so different. Feels so different when you go to like a well-funded protest.
Yeah. So I just have like huge love for you guys at CAFT. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That's really sweet. Yeah, I think people I think the average is 18 months. People stay in this movement for 18 months and I would really hope that they get to change the world for animals in those 18 months. I try to I try to have our environment be one where you're definitely gonna be a part of a win or at least develop skills. Like I think that the pressure campaigns are incredible skill builders. So I hope that we're creating an environment where people feel like their 18 months are useful. And I just think like realistically people have kids and they move on and they're not going to be activists for life. So I don't know. Hopefully they get to be a part of a win.
Yeah, let's hope so. Let's hope so. And let's hope they go beyond the 18 months. And that's part of what this channel is, just kind of inspire people to keep going. And I mean, you know, like it could be going in whatever direction with activism that you're involved with. But like we've talked about, getting involved with CAFT or one of these campaigns, there's a very good chance that you're going to get some wins. And that's going to propel you on to the next thing. So yeah, everybody, get involved. I'm going to put all those links down below for CAFT and everything, and so that you guys can all get involved in this Berluti campaign. Let's take Berluti out fast. Like,
yeah, Berluti's going down. I mean, this is it's hilarious, Berluti. Like we just bowled over a multi-billion-dollar company, and you think we're not gonna win? Like, why? Here's my message to Berluti. Why do you want to do this? We both know how this ends. We all know how this ends. Give us the policy. You're wasting my time. And I don't know, just why are you making this poor guy in New York, this security guy? He's kind of nice. He's funny. He sometimes will pretend to grab the door, and he'll pretend to grab the door. I like the guy. He's kind of fun. Like, why does he have to do this? This is not fair to your employees. This is a hostile work environment that you've created. Your employees deserve for you to go for free. Just do it. Come on.
Yeah.
You're wasting all of our time. You're wasting everyone's time.
We know how this ends.
We both know how this ends.
Lauren has already started making the graphic. Okay.
Graphic is made.
The graphic is made.
The graphic is not made. The graphic will not be made until day of.
Yeah. But we're thinking about it. We already know what's going to happen. So, all right, Lauren. Well, it's been so great talking to you. Thank you again for all the great work you're doing.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having us. And maybe next time we're both tired. Next time we won't be so tired on the call.
Yeah.
But tired for a good reason. Tired because
Indeed.
yesterday was a big day for the animals, and a historic day for the animal rights activists. I think we should try to feel these wins as ours too, even if they are the animals.
Yeah, thank you. And let me just say, just to end on this, congratulations to all the activists who took part in this. Obviously was spearheaded by CAFT and with great support from AAC, but activists all over the world have a hand in this win. So thank you for all the great work that you guys are doing, and for the great future work that you're doing.
1,000,000%. And I feel like I'd be remiss if our coalition has grown a little bit bigger with CAFT, AAC, and ICAW. The folks that are coming in through the intake of ICAW, predominantly in Europe, they've been so supportive of the fur campaigns, and I feel like we're growing closer together with more of the EA and the welfare focused activists. Like, there's no reason that we can't work together. Like, if we're walking down this road and like you are turning here in 10 miles and I'm staying straight on it, we can walk those 10 miles together. And I feel like that's a really exciting collaboration that we've unlocked, because a lot of the activists are in these EA spaces. So yeah, CAFT, AAC, and ICAW.
And tell them who ICAW is, and not everybody's going to know who that is.
ICAW is called as International Council for Animal Welfare. They do like cage-free and shrimp campaigns. And they are more tapped into like the EA space. So, we've been supporting their events, and they've been supporting our events. And we've gotten to meet a bunch of like EA people and people from like Revolutionist Nights that are like totally on board. And I think vice versa, like they found that like these fur people, like, yeah, they're abolition minded. Like most of them are abolition first, but they also really like to win. Yeah. So if you can throw a win in front of them, they're like, well, yeah, if I can just win this campaign and move the needle, they're super receptive. So it's been a really, really good friendship between the three groups.
Yeah. So support them as well. So we'll link to all of them. All right.
I also work. Wait, I'm going to do one more plug. I also work at AAC now, and my job is to help you start a pressure campaign. So
wait, sorry, I talked over you. Where do you work?
Oh, I actually work at AAC now. And my job at AAC is to help you start a pressure campaign in your city. So if you want to reach out to me, you can either DM me on Instagram, or you can reach out to AAC, or if you can find me on Signal, honestly, please do that. That's like the easiest. But if you can reach out to me, I will help you start a pressure campaign in your city.
Awesome. So do that. Let's get pressure campaigns all across the world going.
Pressure campaigns all across the world. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Lauren.
Thank you.